dollars extra. So the next shot that was shot, everybody felt. Today, I believe that in bringing just a message from our Blackfeet country, the people on our reservation are striving, just like any other citizens throughout this United States, and for that, the whole world. And we are hoping by helping develop those things that we have,
Leroy, you mentioned that you're encumbered by the amount of money that you have to offer to the unions for salary increases. Are the state unions ready to accept a 6% salary increase?
Well, the offer, as you said, that we have on the table with AFSCME, if applied statewide, would result in about 6% increase. The union's offer would be about 6.5% each year of the biennium if applied statewide. So we're pretty close in terms of percentage. The real issue is distribution. And the union wants the increase for the lower end of the pay spectrum to go up to 16, 17, 18% increases for the biennium, and the higher paid to accept 3 and 4% annual increases. We're saying we just can't accept that kind of spread. That's been done in the past several times, and we can't accept that anymore. And so we're trying to cut off wage increases at 14% over the biennium, or 7% a year, so that no one would get an increase of more than 7%. It's, we think, a fair way of distributing the limited amount of money that we have. It would still give those lower paid workers a higher percentage increase than the higher paid workers. The truth of the matter is, we just do not have enough money to keep everybody abreast of what is the probable inflation rate. So we have to try and spread it as equitably as we can. And that 14% or 7% a year ceiling is, we think, the fairest way to do that.
Now, many state employees, particularly among the lower scale, or the lower grades, feel that they haven't been able to keep up with inflation through salary increases. Is that a fair argument, or has the state been fair in its salary increases?
Well, that argument is incorrect. If you look at the salary increases granted to state employees over the past 4 years, the only ones who've kept up with inflation are those employees in the $8,000, $9,000, $10,000, $11,000 a year category. And those are the ones that we're offering 7% or very close to it this year. So once again, they would be the only ones that would even come close to keeping up with inflation. So I can't accept that argument. In terms of keeping up with inflation, they're better off than any other group of state employees.
We've seen one strike already by the institutions over salaries. Can we expect more strikes as state employees want more money?
No, I really don't expect to see a rash of strikes. I think in many cases other organizations are looking to see how the state will respond to the AFSCME organization strike, and see if what the result of that will be. I don't expect a rash of strikes to break out, though.
So it appears that the state has to hold a hard line on this one in order to prevent other similar demand.
we'll be able to take care of them adequately.
Okay, we're rolling now. Everett, the Democrats, Mr. Fosbender and Mike Greeley, say that the antitrust bill ended up a political football on the Republican side, that the antitrust legislation is something that the state actually needs. Your version?
Well, I certainly wouldn't agree that it ended up being a political football. I know that the Republicans were concerned about the fact that this may be bringing about a growth in an area and state government that might not have been necessary. We didn't really know, and we wrestled with this in the committee, and in the end tabled the bill that was introduced.
Now, Mr. Greeley seems to feel that the state's Business Practices Act is not enough in order to tackle antitrust, that perhaps there's not an understanding of what the antitrust bill would have done for the state. Do you feel that perhaps there was some misunderstanding over what the antitrust bill would have done?
Well, that certainly is possible. At the time of the hearing, we certainly were not presented all the evidence, and then when we had a committee meeting to act on bills, we actually voted 9-1 to table the bill. 3 out of 4 Democrats voted to table it too. Some of them later backed down on that, but the original vote was 9-1 to table the bill, establishing an antitrust bureau, or at least enlarging its powers, and so I don't see how it's possible to say that this was a political issue.
Now, one charge that they are making is that perhaps there was a fear that among businessmen that they would be charged under the Antitrust Act, and that there was a lot of pressure in order to put the bill down. Was there pressure to vote against the bill?
There was absolutely no pressure to vote against the bill. You're
George, some union officials have the feeling that salaries for state government employees are being sacrificed in favor of other programs. What is the priority for state salaries?
Well, I don't think it's at all true that state employees are being sacrificed for other state programs or state services. The fact of the matter is that the executive budget is proposing salary increases of up to 7% each year of the biennium for state employees. That's in contrast with general fund increases over the biennium, or for each fiscal year